Okay, so I was looking around today at some fair I was at, a fair, a fete, a festival, whatever you guys call it, where you've got a bunch of food trucks and you've got some stalls where people sell handmade jewelry and soap and distilled gin. I don't understand what the deal is with gin. I've had a good gin once, and that was when I was backstage at we were doing, what was it? Pirates of the Caribbean, and I had two flaming gay guys in the cast. And they were awesome. And one of them decided to make me a gin and tonic. I was like, no, just don't, because I've never met a good one. I hate it. I don't know how anybody likes this trash. Please don't. And he made me one anyway. And in the spirit of the mood of the whatever, backstage, all of us partying, it was one of our last shows, he made me one. And it was actually pretty good. So yeah, I don't know why you needed to know that, but that is the case. Anyway, moving on. That's about a minute of preamble, and hopefully I can now say the word fuck. Alrighty. Never forget what they did to you. Never forget that for the past few years there were times when you couldn't leave your house. Never forget there were times you couldn't take public transport without a piece of cloth on your face. And that cloth could be any degree of protection, quote unquote protection. They wanted you to have an N95, but it was also okay if you had a scarf that you just found or a pair of undies. It didn't matter. It was just something around your face to make everyone else feel better. And if you didn't do it, you were liable for a fine. And that didn't even matter if you're on the beach in the fresh air in the middle of summer, in Australian summer. You'd get cops coming up to the people on the beach, and there's articles that show pictures of it and people describing it, telling them that they need a mask or they need to vacate the beach. The ridiculousness was amazing. Man, I'm going to tell my kids about it one day. I'm going to tell them how I got on a train once and two old people were sitting at the other end of the train cart, and the man turned to, I guess, his wife and deliberately tried to come across like he was talking to her, but, you know, obviously meaning me and speaking very loudly and saying, oh, just some of these people, you've been asked to help your fellow man. You can't even wear a mask on public transport. Hey, old man, come close here. Fuck you. Get on the internet, get some skills so you can move the mouse around and hand and eye coordination and not wire your life savings to a Nigerian prince for 5 seconds, and then research what we know, what I know. What's now come to the forefront as being, ooh, not a conspiracy theory. Lab leak. You know what I mean? Never forget you couldn't have a beer while standing up. Never forget that the Rona boogeyman could get you after 11 p.m. if you were still out and about. Never forget that they cock-blocked the shit out of you on dating apps. And I was one of them, but by then I sort of didn't care because I'd have the whole experience of, you know, if you want to go back and look at the Mr. Passion playlist, yeah, I had enough experience to know that this stuff isn't for me, but a lot of people got cock-blocked. That's what I started off this episode with. Because I went to this fair, this fete, this local community festival, a lot, and I mean a lot of people had children. I would say the majority of those children were under 3. I know there's speculation whether or not there was in fact some sort of baby boom during the corona years. A lot of articles say that there wasn't. There in fact were less children born because people were scared about what the future was going to bring. Some were cock-blocked. Some people just thought, you know what, this is too crazy. If this kind of stuff is going to happen, I don't want to bring another child or another person into this world to have to deal with all this stuff. Just like how they say the marriage rate went down, and that's because nobody wants to invite just 3 people to their wedding, and they don't want to sit 1.5 meters or 2 meters away from their best friend. International holidays, funerals for important people, things like Anzac Day, don't even get me started on this. But I think a lot of that stuff, people just didn't want to fuck with it. They just went, look, I bow out at this part of history. I don't want to comply with these stupid regulations. I don't want to do all this extra work. Look, I'll just sit this one out. Oh, and there is a fact check on the fact check website, so you know that that must mean this is true, saying that there was not a baby boom. But in my experience of just looking around and just being in public, and also the fact I do have a friend that works at a fertility clinic, there is a thing to be said for anecdotal evidence. Someone's living it. So this person ended up telling me that when the COVID stuff started happening, that there was a surge in clientele. So you had same-sex couples or couples with fertility issues or single women. Everyone was clamoring to get on board to have children. And so there's a flip side as well. So despite what the articles are saying, my experience looking around, and also people I've known and people that have had children recently, it seems to be sort of a baby boom. I know the articles that say there wasn't tend to be from overseas, from America, and the ones in Australia seem to say otherwise. So maybe it's different depending on where you are. But the reasons why some say a baby boom could happen is because a lot of people are spending a lot of time at home together and working from home. And despite what people say, we do have biological urges that we don't understand. And when you're in a partnership, when you're all safe in your little hidey hole, you're probably going to procreate. So it's that. It's the fact that it did light a fire under some people's butts and they decided, look, this is what I want for my life. Let's go. Let's do it before the world gets any crazier. So I can't really give you a watertight explanation, except that I saw a lot of babies at this thing that had a couple thousand people there. Then I started noticing it, and when I started noticing it, I couldn't stop noticing it. And I spent the whole day just with people I was with, sort of pointing it out all the time. Rona baby, Rona baby, Rona baby, Rona baby, another Rona baby. So now Rona baby is a thing, and I can't stop saying it. I get that that generation will one day be my overlords, but I just want to say I don't know if I can respect you because I know your parents were idiots. Whether they chose to work from home and, we're having a Rona baby, or whether they quickly rushed to the front of the queue trying to have babies because they listened to the media and they were panicking. Your parents are idiots, son. Don't want to be one of those people that's asking you to sub and like, but if you feel like commenting or liking, that would help me out. It'll give me the power to do more of these episodes.